What's going on there, everyone? Well, there's a lot of things going on in the news today, but this one, personally, makes me extraordinarily happy. Makes me feel good inside. Like, yes, there are people with common sense. Yes, there are people that see things for what they actually are. And yes, there are people that are willing to call out government officials when they act nonsensical. DHS bars DIM staffers from visiting border facilities after rude and disruptive behavior. From Fox News. It's kind of a long article, so bear with me. Exclusive. The Department of Homeland Security has barred Democratic staffers from the House Oversight Committee from visiting Customs and Border Protection facilities at the U.S.-Mexico border as part of a planned trip this week after committee staff allegedly were disruptive and refused to follow instructions during their last trip, Fox News has learned. That's not alleged. You could see it. You could see the way these people were acting. They acted like children that had no concept of what's actually going on. They went down there with these previous notions that everything is wrong. They went down there with their feelings, not caring about facts, not caring about what's actually, like the numbers involved. They didn't care about anything except trying to promote their narrative that these places are bad and that we shouldn't detain people who come here illegally, which is nonsense. It's completely ridiculous to even assume those type of things. The committee chairman, Elijah Cummings, that wonderful chairman, you know, the guy whose city is in complete disrepair, and he's been pretty much one of the most important people that could help that problem for the past, 20 years? And has done nothing? Yeah, that guy. Had sent his staff to visit border facilities for oversight inspections last week and planned to send staff again to view immigration and customs enforcement and CBP centers. The only reason they're not doing this for oversight. We know this. We know they're not doing it for oversight. They're doing it to try to promulgate this narrative that the Border Patrol people and ICE are all evil and they're mistreating people, this, that, and the other. The only people who have mistreated these people are the Democratic Party for refusing to act on anything when it comes to border security and trying to fix the immigration crisis that we're in. That's the only problem we have right now. I mean, well, you see what I'm saying. It's not the only the problem is the immigration issue. But when it comes to the Democrats that go down there, they are the problem because they're not helping anything. But sources told Fox News that DHS has revoked access to CBP facilities for the upcoming visits, citing staff behavior that interfered with law enforcement operations, including refusing to leave one site after their scheduled window, skipping some tours, and being rude to officers. A DHS official said that ICE visits will still be allowed this week, but with a 2-hour time limit. One of those visits took place on Tuesday. See? And even the media is still putting a little hook on this, saying that they're completely not allowed to go. Well, they are allowed to go. It says it right there. They just have a 2-hour time limit. Because, you know, these people are trying to do their jobs. And when you have all these Democrats going down there and causing scenes, acting ridiculous, acting like children, it's hard for them to get their job done. And it affects their performance at their jobs, which we need them to be at their best. They have a very stressful job. They have to deal with things they're not truly qualified to be dealing with. I mean, they're acting more like babysitters than law enforcement officers. It's pretty sad. Due to operational burden placed on the field staff by the refusal to comply with instructions during last week's staff delegation visit, CBP pulled the trip in which more sites visits were to take place at CBP and ICE facilities this week. A senior DHS official told Fox News in an email Wednesday. DHS communicated to the committee that due to their conduct, CBP would not support visits from the committee this week. But we all saw they will allow them to come as long as they follow the rules. A Democratic source suggested the visit is being nixed due to concerns about what staff were learning from detainees about conditions on the ground. Yeah, that's not true. It's a Democratic source. Of course, they're going to suggest something that will fit their narrative. We see this all the time. That's not how the agency described it. Last week, following a visit to one of the first facilities in the committee staff's itinerary, DHS Assistant Secretary of Legislative Affairs Christine Seacone, might have that name wrong, but what's new, wrote to Cummings, notifying him that due to his staff's violation of guidelines, their planned follow-up tour could not be accommodated. During discussions between department and committee staff, however, the committee staff repeatedly stated that they do not intend to abide by the DHS guidelines. Of course they don't, because these people are authoritarians. They believe that they are almighty and all-powerful. They've said it themselves, that they have the power. Not us, the people, not the DHS officials. They have the power. And that should be worrying to everybody, even the Democrats that are still willing participants in the Democratic Party. Y'all should be unnerved by that, and if you're not, you need to get your head examined. Stop giving so much power to these people, and stop letting them think that they're almighty. They're not. We are. We the people. We are the almighty force in this country, not them. Ugh. Sycone, I don't know how to say that name, and I hate that they keep putting it there, but what can you do? I'm going to call her Mrs. C, for I don't sound like too much of a babbling idiot. Mrs. C wrote in a letter obtained by Fox News, "In light of this, we are unable to accommodate your staff's visit unless we receive a firm commitment that the committee and its staff will comply fully with all existing guidelines and policies, which is reasonable." She added that the staff's attempts to conduct interviews and take photographs without limitations are a significant deviation from DHS policy and could jeopardize the department's ability to meet legal obligations. The night before last week's visit, DHS officials had a late-night phone call with committee staff urging them to respect officers on the ground as to not disrupt business at the facilities. That's what's happening every time they go down there. They go down there, they make big scenes, they sit here and want to talk to the people, this, that, and the other, and they want to sit, just talk. It's nonsensical behavior. You go there, you inspect like an inspector, leave your feelings out of it, do your jobs, but they can't do that. But according to CBP official, the committee's chief counsel, who led the delegation starting at Yuma, Arizona, refused to leave the facility after an hour-long tour, despite previously agreeing to a 45-minute tour in each location. "I informed him that his actions on behalf of the committee made a huge operational impact by not communicating back to CBP the true intent and expectations for his delegation," the official said. Nothing that because of this, part of the delegation only toured Yuma and had to cancel other facilities that were previously scheduled. This left agents in a position where they were waiting on staff to show, and then they did not show at all. The officials added that another part of the delegation began in the San Diego sector. The official said that 2 staffers missed the first portion of the tour and apparently ended up crossing the border due to following their GPS guidance and were unable to make it. Committee ranking member Jim Jordan, in a letter to Cummings, also said Democratic staff crossed into Mexico without consultation from the Department of State. Jordan said the Democratic staff was rude and dismissive to law enforcement officials during the visit. A Democratic committee aide, though, said Jordan's letter was riddled with inaccuracies and misrepresentations. That's probably just an opinion. The aide said some of the meetings Jordan complained about were freely attended by his own staff, who raised absolutely no concerns at the time. The aide continued, The real news here is the Department of Homeland Security abruptly canceled future inspections and denied committee investigators access to 11 CBP facilities as soon as committee investigators began confirming with detainees some of the very same problems identified by the independent inspector general. It appears that the ranking member Jordan would rather defend Trump administration than conduct meaningful independent oversight. Well, be that is your opinion, I'm not going to say much on it because that is your opinion. But Jordan and DHS officials cited a range of concerns about Democrats' conduct on site. DHS asked the committee to abide by the instructions of DHS personnel on the ground and respect the significant operational interest of the border facilities visited, Jordan wrote. Unfortunately, at your apparent direction, Democrats refused to listen to law enforcement instructions and made demands at the facilities against the express written notice DHS had provided earlier. Jordan says Democratic staff abandoned the agreement with the DHS for limited photography and detainee interactions and accused them of wasting DHS manpower and taxpayer resources. Well, I do got to say something. When it comes to interviewing the detainees, you're not going to probably hear much good things because these people are being detained. You know? Go to a jail. Interview all the people. And you'll soon realize that you're in a jail full of innocent people. Because people lie. That's a new concept. People lie. Jordan also claimed that the Democratic staff took direction from liberal special interest before last week's tour, citing a meeting with representatives of the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is a nonsensical organization that should be completely disbanded. It's a waste of time, money, and everything else. A liberal organization currently suing the Trump administration over detention facilities at the border. Jordan claimed the SPLC gave directions to Democratic staff about what to look for and ask about during their tours, as well as suggested questions for staff to pose to detainees and DHS officials during their visit. Well, SPLC, shut up. You are a completely discredited organization. Come on. One aspect missing from your staff's travel to date has been any interest in the well-being of or resources provided to the brave men and women who serve to secure our border, Jordan added. Several Border Patrol agents told us the nasty rhetoric from Democrats in Congress. One member of this committee even likened them to Nazis, of course. And the camps as concentration camps. We all know who these people are. Hurts morale and makes some agents reluctant to tell people what they do for a living. That's pretty sad. I'm proud of them. I think everyone in America should be proud of these people because they are our first line of defense when it comes to keeping our country secure. Yes, all praise to the military, but all praise to these people too. They are our first line of defense. And give it up to the Coast Guard too. They do a big job when it comes to protecting our borders on the sea. They're really good at that. And keeping drugs from coming smuggled from South America. So give it up to them too. The member Jordan was referring to was Representative AOC, the Democrat shining little star of socialism and pure retardation. Oh, video's going to be deranked for that. Who has referred to border facilities as concentration camps on the southern border. Last week's altercations between DHS officials and committee aides are not the first such dust-ups. Last month, the delegation of lawmakers visited the border, a trip that became the subject of controversy after witnesses told the Washington Examiner that Ocasio-Cortez was screaming at the agents and behaving in a threatening manner. Because she's a child. The highlight of her career in life should have been head bartender. She was doing what she should have been doing. But then you got Cenk Uygur sitting here and getting her elected. She answered the casting call and she was a cute little face and they were like, let's put her up. Not realizing that behind that face there's nothing going on. Nothing going on except shenanigans and nonsense. Ocasio-Cortez, seemingly in response to the report, tweeted, "They confiscated my phone and they were all armed." Yeah, of course they are, you idiot. I'm 5'4". They're just upset I'm exposing their inhumane behavior. No, you are the one being inhumane to people that are sworn to protect. Calling them Nazis, calling their centers, detention centers, concentration camps, completely denigrating them every chance you get. That's inhuman behavior. Ocasio-Cortez visit and allegations came after the discovery of a secret Facebook group for Border Patrol agents where some posted vulgar jokes and images about her, as well as illegal immigrants. And they have the right to do that. We do have this thing called freedom of speech. Is it professional? No. Do I condone it? No. They shouldn't do that. They should be professional on and off the job when it comes to talking about their job. When it comes to talking about you, Cortez, they should be able to put whatever they want out. Because you're not special. You don't get special privilege. It's as simple as that. They're threatening violence on members of Congress, Ocasio-Cortez tweeted. How do you think they treat caged children and families? Well, the caged children and families, who technically aren't really caged, probably treat them better than you do. So they probably treat them better than they treat you. Think about it. Think about it. But yeah, as you can see, the DHS is upset. They're upset about these people constantly wanting to come down there just to make headlines. Just to make the media, the legacy left-wing media, rally behind these crazy Democrats. Just for likes and comments and shares about the stories. They have no accuracy. I mean, they're just not accurate. These stories are not accurate. These people go down there with preconceived notions of these places being horrible, the personnel working there are terrible people, and this, that, and the other. And so they're going to refuse. It can be sitting right in front of them that it's not that bad, considering these people are criminals. Think about it. They came here illegally. That's a crime. They're not U.S. citizens, so no, unlike what the Democrats want to do, where we just constantly keep getting them and releasing them into the country, no, we want to detain them. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's how you keep up the continuity of our country. We gotta do this. It's not the greatest thing to do. We all acknowledge that. We wish these people would just come through legally, but a lot of them aren't. And a lot of them are being egged on by activist groups that are supported by the Democrats. If you don't like the situation, people on the left, help us solve it. Help us fix the problem, secure the border, and make these people come in legally where we can all be happy and all benefit from it. Them, us taxpayers, everybody. But I'd love to hear your comments, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side.